Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to complete your branding kit. So we did our business card last week. This week we're going to complete it with some stationery, and this is letterhead and an envelope. So these are good for things like contracts or sending out informational letters to clients, things like that. Also invoices. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is open up my Illustrator file from my business card that I did last week. I'm going to go ahead and open that. Let's see, business card. Okay, so I have my front and my back on my document, right? So the next thing I want to do is add some more artboards, one for my letterhead and one for my envelope. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the window, go to artboards, and I need to add another artboard. So I'm going to click on this one, and this is my new artboard right here for my envelope or for my letterhead, and this one will be for my envelope. I can close those out. I'm going to go ahead and edit my artboard. Oops, I actually need that artboard panel open. So what I'm going to do is double click. Oops, I double click on this little icon right here. I'm going to zoom out. It'll let me. It might not let me now because I'm zoomed in. I'm going to go ahead and change the size of this to 8.5 by 11 inches. So that's the regular paper size. Okay, so that's going to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and show you what it looks like now that I increase the size. So this is what that new artboard looks like, and I actually need to move it over. So I'm going to go to Window and Control and go to Preferences. Oops, not Preferences, sorry, Document Setup. Edit artboards, and then hopefully, okay, let me actually lock this guy in place first, because when I go to move my new artboard, it wants to move my business card information, but I don't want that, so I'm going to lock it into place. And then hopefully when I move my new letterhead over and down, it's good. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm just going to move it over before I resize it while I'm in edit mode. And then I can also edit it up here. So I'm going to go to width, and the envelope is going to be 9.5 inches by 4.125 inches. And I can still move it over because I'm still in editing mode. Hit OK. And now I can close out my artboard option. Okay, so now I have 4 separate artboards, and I can go ahead and get to work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to use all of the colors that are used on my business card and my logo for my letterhead and my envelope. The first thing I'm going to do is make my envelope because that's the easiest part. So all I need to do is I need to go back and unlock my business card because I'm going to borrow these assets here. So the first thing I'm going to borrow is my logo. So I'm going to hold Alt, click and drag on my, oops, not on that. I don't want to click the whole thing. I just want the logo. So I'll click, hold Alt. I don't know why it's bringing the whole thing. Why is it doing that? Let's try to zoom in a little bit. So I don't want the whole entire card. All I want is my logo. Why is that moving the entire thing? Okay, so it's problem solved here. So let's select, oh, because I think I am still in artboard mode, and that may be my problem. Yes, that was my problem. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, hold Alt, there we go, and drag it over. So I want to keep a little bit of a margin around the outside of my envelope and my letterhead because I don't want the printer to cut any important information off. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit of spacing around the edges. All right, the next thing I want to do is add the wording that is up here. So I'm going to select this right here and electronics, holding shift, I can hopefully select both of them. Hold Alt and drag those down. I'm not going to be able to see them right away because they're both white, and I actually need to change the color to blue. So I'm going to click on my eyedropper tool with them both still selected and just click on that color, and it drops it right there. Next thing I want to do is copy my address. Oops, try that again. So I only want this part, so I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, and then come right here and click and go Edit, Paste. So in the remote desktop, we are not able to do Control-C, Control-V. So we actually have to use the copy-paste commands or window up there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put this right underneath there. And then maybe arrange the spacing a little bit different. So I kind of want my the space between the logo and the edge to be the same as the space between the wording and the edge. So let's see if we can figure that out. To do that, I can select all of my objects. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Yeah, that won't work. All right, that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it just like that. I might increase the size of this font just a little bit. So I'll go to my character panel and bump this up to 12 points and bump this up, the spacing up to maybe 14 to give it a little bit of separation to make it easier on the eyes of the post office. All right, that looks good. So there is my envelope. Pretty simple. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is my letterhead. So I want my letterhead to be almost identical to my business card, but obviously larger. So what I'm going to do is replicate this line right here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag out a new line just like this and change the color to blue. Go ahead and, sorry about that. Go ahead and copy these two words again, Pack Electronics. Holding Alt, I can click and drag and bring it over here. Again, I need to leave a little bit of cushion between the edge. And if you notice, it went behind my blue line. So I'm going to go ahead and bump those up in my layer panel. So I'm going to drag them up to the top so they're on top. And holding Shift, let's see if this will work. I can go ahead and drag this out and make it a little bit larger. Again, I need to make sure I have a little bit of cushioning between the margins. All right, that looks good. I actually think I'm going to bring this down just a little bit and then maybe over just a little. Okay, next thing I want to do is actually copy this logo right here because I like how this one has that glow behind it. I think there are actually two logos here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock a couple of my layers here so I don't use those, and I'm just going to click and drag just to make sure that I get all of these pieces that I need. So then I can hold Alt, click and drag it over and bring it up to the top above that blue line. And let's see, did that work? All right, I am not sure why it didn't show. And while I'm doing this, something that I'm noticing is that I didn't put any of this extra stuff on the new layer. So let me go ahead and do that now to ease any confusion I may have while I'm looking for stuff. So I'm going to name this envelope. Oh my goodness. Okay, envelope. And go ahead and place these objects on that layer so I know what they are. We're going to go this one, this one, this one, and this one, and drag those up to that layer. And then make one more layer and title this letterhead. Oh. And then go ahead and move these two objects up there. All right, now I can work on that layer. Should have done that to begin with. Okay, so where did, looks like I lost that logo somewhere. I'm not sure where. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to go ahead and hold Alt and drag this over, bring it right there, and then drag it up here. Okay, there we go. So let's see where I'm at. Alright, doesn't look like it copied over this layer style that I have going on here. It actually put the layer in the wrong place. So, oh, I see. Okay. So when I made my business card, what I did is I just made a circle behind my logo and gave it a little bit of a glow because I needed it to stand out just a little bit because the color blends in very well. So I had to make sure that it stood out. I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a glow right behind there. So what I'm going to do is create a circle, and this is only because I want it to stand out. And drop that right behind.